This is Sierra from Medical Revenue Service. This communication is from a debt collector. This is an attempt to collect the debt, and any information obtained will be used for that purpose. Please contact me or any other representative at 877.
I could check off every box, but in the moment, I didn't know. Pregnancy apps would be like, you may be noticing that you're a little more klutzy than normal, so it really just like life perfectly excused what was happening.
She came home saying that she was really having a hard time hearing, just kind of continued. She never really went to the doctors, and
I started to notice a numbness in my scalp, feeling a lot of pressure in my neck and top of my shoulder. I was easily falling over or just had terrible balance. I just thought it was postpartum.
Shannon was always someone who was just very, very helpful, very, very caring about others around her. My name is Ed Kennedy, and Shannon is my daughter.
The match.
The one thing we realized about Shannon, once she got to say kindergarten, she knew right then and there that she wanted to be a teacher.
Happy birthday, dear Shani Poo.
Many people, she's not like a lot of other children.
Holy mackerel, yay!
I actually got an email from the hospital saying that test results had been uploaded into my chart. Out of all the medical jargon, what stuck out to me was tumor and mass. With the size of what the tumor was, it was pressing on my brainstem. We wanted to go to someone who really specialized in that. The surgery was in Raleigh. Our report time was 7 a.m.
it was the longest day. I didn't really eat much just because of all the worry of everything going on.
Tyler is a family man, and he just does what he needs to do for his family. And I know that he knew I was feeling a lot of what ifs, a lot of, in this case scenario, this is what life could look like. In this case scenario, this is what life could look like. So I know for sure that he was scared, but he's not gonna show that to me.
What was I gonna do if something bad happened? I really, I don't want to lose her. For me, none of my family's here. Where would I go? What would I do? How would I support Harper? And how would her life be without her mom? And how would my life be without my wife and, the mother of my child?
Make sure your first kiss is a Merry
I'll never forget Shannon goes, Dad, I met someone.
We did virtual dates to start out talking and did a FaceTime dinner date as our first date.
Well, she was so nervous she made boiled noodles, but we sat there until 12 o'clock a.m. just talking and laughing, and it was great. How much did she have for lunch?
She said 12 ounces total so far today.
Okay. We were at the mall, and we kind of walked past the jewelry store, and she kind of looked in and saw some stuff. I ended up going back and getting the engagement ring. there was a lot of worry around and stress around how are we going to pay for this? How are we going to just pay for our living expenses?
We don't have savings to just throw at, a trip to the hospital. I didn't know how much we would end up owing.
There's no better place in the world to be elderly or sick and elderly than the U.S. as long as you have good insurance. My name is Mark Hall. I'm a professor of law and public health at Wake Forest University.
She was looking up stuff and she was like, it could, without insurance, it could be 160 or 170,000.
Healthcare is the most costly in our country compared to anywhere in the world. We do have, despite all its flaws, a really remarkable state-of-the-art healthcare system for those who have good access to it.
In the weeks leading up to surgery, from between the diagnosis to when the surgery would be, I feel like I'm gonna cry. I cried so much because I knew I was gonna miss Harper, and I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know what I would be like, look like. I didn't know what a new normal would be. And so there would be times where rocking her in the nursery, I would cry because I was like, I've never missed a moment with her. I don't want her, when she gets older, to wonder, why did I get a sick mom? So it was really, really hard. But there was a lot of prayer from me and people around us. The prayers really strengthened me to be able to say goodbye to her when I knew she would go with my mom, and I think all the tears were shed, and then I went into a mode of, okay, we're gonna get this done, and we're just gonna do what we need to do, and I'm gonna do all the things I need to do to be okay, and then we'll live life better than before after all this is done. So. I do remember thinking, it's over. I did it. We're here. I'm alive. I made it out.
If you go by the little, I got her this one this year. It's the survived brain surgery.
That's our tradition, is getting an ornament for each other.
Yeah.
So you want an itemized bill for October 29th?
Correct. Yep.
It sort of grew by accretion. We just paid for everything out of pocket. The kind of insurance that came about first covered hospitals, then covered doctors, then covered drugs. But it got to be too expensive, in part because insurance was created by the hospital industry and by the medical profession as a way of essentially generating more business.
Your estimated wait time is 14 to 16 minutes. We could not find that number. Please hold while we transfer you to one of our team members. Please say or enter the account number. If you don't know it, say, I don't have it.
I don't have it.
A lot of people, when they're sick, don't feel like they want to be a consumer. They want to be treated like a patient, which is just to show up and be taken care of.
Is there any kind of discount that I could receive if I paid that today?
No, ma'am. So there is no other additional discount available since you do have insurance coverage.
So the amount the insurance pays is determined through negotiation between the insurance company and the hospitals and doctors that are in the network. We have this peculiar feature of this huge gap between the list price and the actual, market price.
768, 381, 255, 49, 167, 262, 2,843, 20,653. The future looks a little cloudy, but what we do know is that God gives us certain battles for whatever reason, but He's going to be there through those things.
Over the last 10 or 12 years, I'd noticed in particular more and more people were coming, and the story behind their need was that they'd been in the hospital for a few days, they'd lost the income, and then they had a huge medical bill. And this was true even if they had insurance. My name is John Jackman. Most of the folks in the neighborhood call me Pastor John.
As a congregation, we're always kind of looking for ways to live our faith in the community. And then Pastor John walked into the board meeting with this idea to buy up medical debt. I'm June Edwards. The medical system is broken, and it's way too big to fix, but this seemed like we could do something.
Our first campaign was to raise $5,000 to buy the available medical debt here in Forsyth County. We raised the $5,000 in almost no time, sent it into what was then called RIP medical debt. It's now called undue medical debt. And they were able to purchase $1.1 million in debt.
We now declare these debts to be abolished.
Debt gets packaged and resold and put in other people's hands, and it's often the hands of debt collectors who decide how many times are they going to call you and mail you before they say, we're going to turn this in as a bad credit.
Every time we do one of these campaigns and get PR about it, I'll get 80 or 100 phone calls from people saying, you know, I've got some medical debt, can you help me?
Just constantly getting the emails from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. I think the other night she just paid another $1,100.
The way the wholesale campaign that we're doing, we can't help specific people. What we do instead is give them some advice on how to negotiate the debt down and find the whatever assistance is available.
At that point, I didn't know what kind of financial aid there would be. In my head, I just thought, okay, well, we'll put it on a payment plan every month and we'll just make it work.
Her mom actually brought up, like, what if we set up a GoFundMe? You know, your aunts and one of your cousins want to set it up and get it going and post it.
Put a very truthful story of what was going on for Shannon. They were very fortunate.
I was off of work for 4 weeks. When donations were coming in, calmed the stress.
What else do you do? You know, it's like, well, I had to go to the hospital, so I can't do anything about it.
You have to know about it. And if the average person knew how to negotiate the debt with the hospital or with the medical system, then there are avenues.
Now I feel like I'm more of a resource to Harper. There's just such a huge market of profit for these big companies. Insurance companies and pharmaceutical companies are profiting off of when we're sick. It just seems like this really vicious cycle that's happening. You know, the Bible tells us that the love of money is a root of evil. So when you become greedy and you desire that wealth, you know, sometimes you're going to do these things that put other people in harm's way because it doesn't matter, you're going to make a profit. Oh.
What is she doing?
Blowing spit.
No.